Hi, it's Jo and today I'm going to be reviewing Supergirl Season 6, Episode 11, Mixie in the Middle. I'm so sorry that this is a review and not a reaction. I'm actually in the middle of editing today's reactions and I loaded in Supergirl and for some reason there was a glitch and there is no sound to my reaction. So I was going to edit this. It's pretty much not worth reacting to, but I am going to do a review because I love this show, I love these characters, and it's the final season, I don't want to waste a second of it. So it's not going to be as detailed, I mean actually, I'm at the start, maybe it will be as detailed, I don't know, but I normally obviously do the reviews right after I finish the episode, and for me, I have reacted to Marvel's What If, I've edited Stargirl, so like, it's been a few hours basically, but I've got some notes. Something that I think I'm intrigued to learn more about is the concept of the totems. What does that mean? I don't quite fully understand what the totems means. I feel like it's obviously going to be a big part of the season going forward. It's kind of similar to there being 7 paragons and things. Like, I feel like maybe we could have done something slightly different there, but you know, they can convince me. I'm still on the fence about that plotline, but I feel like once I fully get more of a grasp on it, I will be cool with it. Then Nyxly as a character. She's a brilliant villain because she is just so powerful but also so far off the deep end. You know, great power and a terrifying personality are not necessarily what you would want. And then the fact that she has this sort of connection and sense of betrayal with Kara. Again, very misguided given that she tried to get her to leave her dad behind and all that side of things. Surely Nyxly can be like, oh yeah, I did kind of wrong you too. And I think her story is genuinely so tragic. If we'd met her earlier on in the story, especially with Mixie, God, Mixie and Nyxly, I'm going to get mixed up. I'm still getting mixed up endlessly. And with Mixie sort of backing up that she was initially wronged because of the patriarch and everything, it wasn't like she was just totally a evil person to begin with. That does break your heart, and that does mean that earlier in the story, I would have jumped there, been right there with her and been supporting her. And I think if she had taken the olive branch Kara offered, Kara would have supported her, because Kara's heart is everything. But I think Mixie is someone that you can feel so sorry for, you can be with her, but it's reached the point where she's lost the person she once was, and now she has become someone that we need to contain at all costs, because she's gone too far. Having a good reason for why you're upset and hurt and lashing out doesn't make it okay when you do lash out. Then we have Nia, and I can see why she struggled to tell everyone, especially when she saw how hard Kara was taking it and knowing just how terrifying the person she released was. But I absolutely adored Kara for just kind of her instinctive reaction of, oh, of course, Nyxly's a master manipulator. You know, she didn't hold any blame for Nia. You know, saying the same thing of, oh, I believed her too, I helped her, you know. And I think that just shows you the strength of Kara's heart, that she spent all episode blaming herself. And yet when someone else was potentially part of it too, there wasn't a shred of blame that she put on there. That's why I love Kara. Her heart is everything. Kara's character is everything. The fact that even now she was still trying to extend that olive branch to Nyxly, and of course Nyxly rejected it. It's always a crazy episode when we see Mr. Mxyzptlk. He's never been my favourite character. I think for me, sometimes some of the kind of weird and wacky parts that they put into Supergirl don't necessarily work that well, and to a degree he's been one of them. But I think I have enjoyed the way he's progressed as a character. And am I wrong in thinking that in Season 2, when Mr. Mxyzptlk was trying to marry Kara, she just had to say his name backwards and he was banished? Can't we just say her name backwards? I'm very confused about that still, especially as now, thanks to him, he said her whole name, so we could learn that backwards. I don't know. Maybe that was only a temporary banishment, or maybe she's too powerful, that wouldn't work. If they said that in the episode, I'm very sorry that I missed it. I probably was talking, and I do tend to try and go back, but yeah, it's been a while since I watched it. Maybe they did say something about that in the episode. There were lots of different ideas about what to do with her, and I think part of why Kara was so hesitant to send her back to the Phantom Zone was because of the traumas Kara just went through there. She doesn't want to send anybody to the Phantom Zone. She doesn't think anyone deserves it, and she still feels for Nyxly. But as we see, the more Nyxly does, I think the fact that I might have compassion for you and for what you've been through, but you have crossed the line. Totems, Nyxly, Nia, Kara being everything, she's still everything. And then we have Lena. And I do not know what to make of this one. One thing that I am really interested in is how many Irish people there are in Newfoundland. Like, that is, I genuinely know nothing about Newfoundland. I heard like the Newfie accent, my Canadian friend has like talked to me about it, I don't know, like we were watching something or other and there was someone with a Newfie accent. But in general, I am very sceptical about the concept of suddenly there being witches and that being part of Supergirl when we've got like 10 episodes left in the entire show. I do feel a bit like that's come out of nowhere and it's kind of trying to make Lena stay relevant, but she's relevant because she's on the team, so we don't need that. It is quite a fun nod like to Morgana, and it was kind of like she was wandering around a Morgana little hovel. But I do kind of feel like confused a bit about that, about where that's come from and why. Yes, it's giving Lena a plotline, which I'm excited about, a plotline that doesn't involve her betraying Gara and trying to hurt her. And it's a plotline that's hopefully going to bring Lena closer to her mother, which I fully support, because that is the side of her history that she can draw on and that she can really find peace with. But at the same time, it's out of nowhere. And I do kind of agree that like when Lena's like, well, there'll be a rational explanation. Obviously there's all sorts of nonsense. We've had like Constantine-esque magic, and you know, there have been things in the Arrowverse that are sort of magical. I have to think that these people that Lena is from thousands of years ago were aliens that came to Earth or something, because otherwise it does seem very unlikely that, especially that we would never have heard of it yet. But I'm trying to keep open-minded because my initial thought was, what? What? That has nothing to do with this. You know, I'm all for Lena going back, and it was so great to kind of see her, well, initially trying to reconnect with her family, and then the way everyone was immediately like, she's a witcher. That was weird. It just, to me, I feel like it feels like a really odd plotline that they're kind of putting in here. But what I'm hopeful is that this is going to be something that in a few episodes, it's going to be like, well, of course they put that plotline in there. That makes sense. That's how we're going to be fitting it together. I wonder how quickly Lena will be able to learn anything like that. Is she going to stay with her mother's friend to learn that? Is she going to come back and try and learn it by herself? Because I feel like Lena's going to have to learn to use it, because otherwise it's kind of a random thing that they're going to have just shoved in there that, oh, by the way, your mother was a witch, and then we never revisit it again. Is that going to be something that's vital in stopping Nixley? Is Lena going to get a suit and get to be part of the team? I mean, I don't mind if she does. I think it will help her kind of stop feeling powerless like she does in some circumstances, and feel more like empowered to actually put a stop to the bad stuff like Lex and to some of the stuff that she helped cause last season. But I am skeptical about the plotline, just like I'm kind of skeptical about the totems. But I think both plotlines are at their very beginning, so I'm trying not to like focus. I think because this episode was very Mixer Spitterlick with, I mean, I know he wasn't responsible for it, but with a giant cat and everything, I sort of think the next episode, hopefully, or at least the next couple, will help to kind of ground some of these plotlines in a way that we can really see where they're coming from. And I am excited for that as well. And it's really tragic when you think that like Lena's mother only got with Lex, well, not Lex, Lex's dad, because he was a powerful man that would control her so she wouldn't accidentally kill anybody else. And, you know, she died quite young, so I feel like she really kind of gave up on life. But in a lot of other ways, it's so beautiful to think that she's always been with Lena and has always been watching Lena. And I'm sure last season she was screaming through her spirit screen when Lena was trying to brainwash the planet, and just saying, like, come on, you're being, like, just, you don't want to do this, really, if you thought this through. But I'm just glad that this is going to bring Lena closer to her mother. But like I said, a couple of plotlines that I'm like, what? Nixley as a villain is fantastic. Kara is beyond everything. I am excited to see where this journey takes Lena. I hope we're going to get Mixie back at some point, but I am stressed. So yeah, I do not know what happened with that recording. It happens very rarely, but every so often my computer likes to do a little blip at me, and that was the day. I only just noticed, because the days that I have to record and edit 3 things, so I'm very sorry about that. Hopefully next week, touch wood, everything will be up and running again. And if you've watched this review, thank you. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I've missed anything, because it doesn't help that today is one of those days where everything's hectic and I'm really rushed to get these reactions out. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching this review. See you next week.